Okay, I'm going to do a quick overview of this generator I just got. All the specs on it appear to be exactly the same as the previous version. Ryobi 2300 peak watt, 1800 watt continuous inverter generator. Except for one thing. Main thing you'll notice right away, the front looks different. That's because it takes a Ryobi 1 Plus battery pack used for their general power tools. That clicks on the front, and now you have the ability to do remote start using the Bluetooth app on your phone, remote shutdown. The old one had that, but this one gives you the remote start capability with a 12-hour. I didn't know this until I tested it out tonight, but it has a 12-hour standby mode. So once you shut it down, and as long as that battery is put in, and on the other side there's a on-off switch, as long as that switch is on and the battery's in and it's got power, it'll stay on standby for 12 hours. What happens after that, I don't know. I just assume all the electrical system shuts down and you have to go manually pull start it. I took a quick video tonight. It's about 10 degrees outside. Wasn't really planning on doing tool reviews with my YouTube channel at all, but I thought this was a good opportunity to, since I couldn't find any information, any videos online about this thing. It's a brand new product. I bought it from Home Depot. I don't know if it's exclusive from them or not, but I'm going to show you the video footage I took tonight, and I'm just going to be real quick, and if you have any questions, put them in the comments. Okay, got the generator running. I pull started it. Just going to click on the GenControl app on my phone. A little warning. Lost communication. Okay, signal lost. Scan again. Let's try to, I'm not very far away, but let's try to get this linked up here. Okay, so this might be a deal breaker for some people, but you actually have to have your location of your phone turned on for this to work, and I have no idea why. But, I mean, whatever. So, all I had to do was turn the location setting on my phone to on, and then it found the generator. It makes no sense to me, but that's one of the requirements. So here we see the screen at the top. It shows the fuel level. It's full of fuel. It's not completely full, but it's mostly full. Runtime remaining. It's just I'm just powering some LED lights, so there's really not much of a load on it. In fact, it even says load level right here. Time left until engine is shut down. So this here you can actually set it to automatically shut down. So if you just want the generator to run for like 3 hours, I can set it 3 hours. In fact, I can click on that and here just set 3 hours and minutes. It looks like it just does. Looks like it just goes in half-an-hour increments up to 5 hours and down to 30 minutes. That's what it looks like to me. I can't really dial it in much more than that. But anyway, engine stop. So I'm going to stop the motor. Press and hold yes to confirm. Press and hold yes to confirm. Okay. Hold it down. See the bar growing. Shutdown successful. Please make sure to move Easy-Start dial to opposition before storing your inverter generator. Okay. Now, I got a start button at the bottom. One of the things I wanted to find out is see if this thing will fire up under a load. So I still got those LED lights plugged in. Not much of a load at all. Very little. So we'll just hit start. Press and hold yes to confirm. Hold that down. Running, kind of struggled a little bit, but you can see there the lights kicked on. Very cool. So we'll start up a small load. I don't have my kilowatt with me, so I don't know what the load on that is. It's, I don't know, 60 watts or something. I have no idea. I think I did measure it one time. I maybe wrote it down, but anywho, So that's kind of neat. So what else can we do here? Settings, auto idle. It just revved up. I don't know if you can hear it, but I can. Turn the idle. And there it just revved down again. Engine shutdown timer. I think we already looked at that. LCD backlight. You can see on the generator there's a little bit of a backlighting on there. I can actually turn that off remotely with the phone. There, it just shut off. Sorry, my phone might have been in the way. Turn it back on again. There you can see the LCD backlight come back on. It's kind of cool. Forget this generator, don't want to do that. Total run hours, just got it. Just fired it up. 0.2 total hours. Add seconds, don't have a second. So that's that. Turn the lights back on so we can see a little better. This label's kind of in the way. 18-volt battery goes right there. It's got a nice protective cover. It came with a 1.5 amp hour battery. There is extra space in here for a larger battery. See if I can get kind of an angle on that. That 1.5 amp hour battery is just right about there. It could go all the way out to here. I don't know if that'll fit. I'm not sure if that'll fit a 6 amp hour or a 9. Maybe, I don't know. I don't have any Ryobi power tools or anything like that. Not super excited about buying another battery at this point. I just want to see how long this one will last. If it'll last a long time, then I'm not going to worry about it too much, I guess. But other than that, it's pretty much like all the other Ryobi 2300s, but it's got some extra nice, cool little features up front. Side here. Manually shut it down, we can just turn this to off. And then this is the electric start button here, of course, is the pull handle. Flip it on. Then the gen screen light comes on. Fuel at top, total run hours, 0.3, and then it shows actually the battery life there. And then we can just, on the side here, we can just simply push this button. Does not like to start in the cold. It's about 10 degrees outside. This thing is not a cold weather machine by any means. I actually had it in my car warming up. If not, it simply would not start. Okay, here, standby time remaining. This is the part I was kind of curious about. It's in standby mode, so it's not running. Standby time remaining, that must be the battery life, I'm guessing. Is that 11 hours and 59 minutes? Because that's pretty good for a 1.5 amp hour battery. And I wonder if you put a bigger battery in it, if that time would go up, or if that's just a standard 12-hour time. I don't know. But that seems to be... It seems to be 11 hours and 59 minutes there. It flipped down to 11:58. Okay. So it's cold out, so I don't let it stay not running for too long. So hit start, press and hold start. Awesome, fired right up. I'm going to try to back up, see what kind of range we get out of this thing. Let's go around the corner. My goal is to honestly use this on my camper, sit in my bed, you know, and fire up the generator. That'll be presumably about 30 to 40 feet away and outside of a metal door. So here I am around a corner, metal building. Around a corner, metal building. I'm probably 60 feet away or maybe even more. So here, let's fire this up again. Engine stop. Yes. Shutdown successful. Okay. And let me just go make sure. I'm sure it has, but let me just make sure. Okay, yep, my lights are off. And we'll tap start and then press and hold yes to confirm. Engine start in progress. And it appears to be running. Let's go double check. I'm sure it is, but let's double check anyway. Yep, I can hear it. Yep, I can hear it, and the lights are on, so that's pretty cool. Pretty cool. Now, there's one more thing I want to try out. I got a 1500 watt space heater. I'm going to plug into it, and I'm just going to see if, by some chance, it'll start up under a 1500 watt load. That would be quite impressive. So I'll plug it in and get it fired up. Has a nice, real smooth idle up feature on it. It's running. Let's look at the app. It's just saying danger. Ryobi generator is reconnected. Use only outside. Make sure your generator is at least 20 feet away from windows, doors, vents. That's all that screen is. And there we can see the load level is shot up to 100%, which is, you know, it's an 1800 watt continuous rating on the generator. That 1500 watt heater is probably putting out about 1600 watts right now for a couple of reasons. It's cold. I'm not an electrician. I'm pretty sure, see there, it's coming down a little bit. I put a, what do you call it? A kilowatt on that heater. Not today, but earlier, just to see, kind of just playing around with the kilowatt. And I noticed when you kick it on, the watts go way up really high at first, maybe 1600. But then as it runs, as the wiring and everything gets warm, the resistance starts to go down and the wattage starts to drop real slowly. So we even saw that right here. It was at 100, now it dropped down to, what is that, 90 or whatever, 90%. Okay, I want to try to stop this thing and fire it up under load, under a big load. Actually, before I do that, I would never do this in real life. I would, let me turn it down to a lower setting, see what happens. So, like my intention is to, here, see, I turn the heater down to, like, there's usually just a low or a high setting. And you can see there the result. The load is not so sharp now. It's still above half, but this is a good enough test for me. I would never try to turn my air conditioning on first on my camper and then try to fire that thing up remotely. That would just be silly. I feel like this is a pretty good test to have something half loaded, so we'll see if it'll do it, at least with the heater. Shutting it down. Shut down in progress. Okay. And there's the 12-hour timer again. Reset when it's on standby mode. So apparently it's just on a 12-hour timer in standby mode. Again, I don't know if you have a bigger battery, if that time goes up, or if that's just a standard time. I don't see a way to change this. Standby. I don't see a way to change this, unfortunately. Okay, so we'll hit start, hold down the yes button. It's running. Lights come on. Load kicked on. It's at half load. Wow, I'm really happy with this result. I was really skeptical how this thing was going to operate, but I just started this generator remotely with over half a load. I don't know what the wattage is. I want to say 600 to 750 watts, maybe something like that, on that heater right now on low. But obviously you wouldn't want to do that. I mean, a space heater, I don't know. Nothing I would really worry about there, but as far as damaging the equipment. But yeah, I wouldn't expect that, I guess. So I'm actually really happy with everything here. So that's just a quick overview of how this thing operates, I guess. A unit itself, the 1800/2300 Ryobi inverter generator, is nothing new. It's the same motor. It seems to be all the same specs. They just added the electric start. And you don't have to use your phone to start it either. There's a push button on the side. You just push the button, it starts right up. I did try to pull start it when I first unboxed it. It was about 20 degrees or less when I tried to pull start it. I tried for about an hour. It would not start. I don't have any confidence in this thing at all starting in cold weather. I have just no confidence with it starting in anything below 20 degrees. I don't know. I haven't tried starting it in warmer weather. I don't know. What I did is I just had it in my vehicle. I had it in my SUV, and I was driving around in the heat. And I actually had it stored in my apartment as well. So it was warm, and then it starts right up. I would imagine, if I had to guess, I would imagine it would start fine at 40 or 50 degrees Fahrenheit outside temperature. But I don't know. That's yet to be determined. Really big deal breaker, a couple of deal breakers with it. You have to have on your phone, for some reason, you have to have your location on your cell phone turned on, that's one of the settings on my phone. I usually have that turned off. I'm not super paranoid, but there's really no reason for me to have it on, so I don't have it on usually. Well, for people who are paranoid about stuff like that, generators are often used by people who want to go off grid. They want to provide their own power. Maybe you got a cabin in the woods. You just want to get away for a while, camping, whatever. I don't understand why I don't believe you need location turned on. No, I know for a fact you don't need a location turned on to use other Bluetooth devices. Why does this one require that? I don't understand that. I'd like to know the reason behind that. The only thing I can think of is they actually are tracking where you're using this thing. So, I don't know. I don't really have a problem with companies gathering information like that to try to make their products better. That I get that, but I mean, are they sharing that information with other people? It kind of makes you wonder. So that's kind of annoying. I wish, like I said, I'm not super paranoid about it, but here now I won't shut up about it. But anyway, something to keep in mind. A lot of people don't even care, so no big deal. The battery pack, probably the biggest problem with this. The battery pack, once the generator is running, the generator will not charge that battery pack when it's fitted in the unit. I don't know why. That's very strange. It's very odd. So the generator comes like this, comes with the battery pack, and it comes with this small charger. So you got to plug that in somewhere. Of course, you could pull start this, plug it in there, and use a generator to charge up the battery pack, of course. But it can't be not in the slot. Once it's plugged into that slot, there's no recharge capability. I find that very odd. And obviously I'm not the only one. One other thing, since I'm talking about pros and cons, the it's kind of tippy. So I had it in the back of my SUV. I took a corner and it tipped over, and once it tipped over, it actually started spilling gasoline out the cap, and kind of made it a bit of a mess. I was able to get it cleaned up in my back of my car. Luckily, I have the back of my SUV has like a plastic mat on it, so that was actually pretty easy to clean up. It would be a lot worse if it was like carpet, but even if it's in the back of your pickup, something to keep in mind. If it tips over, it's going to start spilling gasoline over it. So whenever you transport with this thing, I would definitely recommend strapping it down so it's not going to move. It's got a telescoping airport luggage style handle that pops out of the bottom here. One thing I wish that was at the top actually, for a couple of reasons. Number one, I think it's easier to get to, especially if you have it in the snow or sand or mud or muck. So that would keep it clean. The other reason is it kind of needs a handle up front up here, I think, in my opinion. There's a handle on top and a handle in the back.